Well, everybody, hello. My name is Patty Sipple. I am Jason's Sipple other good half because I have to say he's really good. Today, he asked me to talk about how did I feel when he introduced to me infinite banking, because for me, it was really a new world. Like I didn't understand what he was telling me. I was upset. I was like, what is he doing? What is he talking about? So he asked me, honey, please share with some people because maybe somebody there may be able to hear something that they are able to communicate to their spouse about infinite banking and about how to start your own policy. So I see here is Emmett. Hello, Emmett, and hello, Robert. Today, as you can see, we are going to talk about a perspective of a spouse. Basically, Jason wanted me to share how was my journey with it. Like, did I freak out? Did I not freak out? All I can say is that when he told me about infinite banking, I thought, what is he talking about? What does he mean that we're going to be our own bank? Like, to me, a bank is somebody where you go put the money and then you take it out, right, with your debit card, or you ask for loans for the cars, or they control you. And then if you don't pay back, they charge you taxes or interest, or, you overdraft, then they charge you the $35 fee. Since I was always, in charge of the bills, I'd always have to make sure I pay everything on time, because if not, it was going to be $35 out of our money that was going to go to them. So he very, very, very just calmly explained to me that we were going to pay all our debts. So I was thinking, where are we going to get all this money to pay all our debts? He said, I have a plan, honey, but you have to listen to me. You have to have faith in me. He talked to me about this engineer whole like policy, and I was thinking, what is that? I told him, we have insurance, Jason, we have term. I got it when our son Connor, who is 10 right now, I got it. So we don't need life insurance. We have it until Connor is 18. So because after he's 18, obviously he's going to be able to, work and help himself. So to me, once he was born, I knew I had to cover us, Jason and I, for 18 years in case something happens to him and me. But he said, no, honey, this is more than just covering ourselves. This is us taking back control of the money that I am making every day that I'm bringing home. So I was like, okay. I didn't understand at the beginning the meaning of it, right? I was confused. I was like, what is he talking about? I don't understand. But he had faith. You can see here in the presentation that we have, in the slide that we have here right now, the slide talks about just taking back control. The first thing we actually had to do to transform our household was to have a money meeting. What we did is Jason said, okay, we never talk about money. We don't know what's going on. You just tell me, honey, I need this amount by the end of the month. I have to pay the mortgage. I have to pay the credit card. I spend it so much in groceries. So Jason knew that I was going to tell him how much, and he had to make it. And that's how we would do every month. So I was happy that I was paying all the bills. But then obviously we didn't have any extra. And then when we wanted to apply for a vacation or something, we just, you have to be like, oh, you want credit card, are we going to put it? Or we have to wait until we finish paying that credit card. Or let me see, Jason would be like, how much are they charging for interest? So we always had all these ideas. Every time I would say, oh, I wish I could have, I want some more diamond rings or something, or I want a better this, or I want something as a woman. He would always get a little bit of stress, because I didn't realize that he was not stressed because I wanted that. He was getting stressed because he didn't know how to make that happen for me. Because I never knew until now that men, I'm sure he talks about this a lot, they have 3 priorities in their life: is to protect, to provide, and to create. So in his mind, every time I wanted something, he was thinking, how am I going to provide for her? And at the same time, make sure she has everything she needs, protect her. And how am I going to create that? So I always thought he was upset or stressed when we would go on vacation or something. He never was really enjoying 100%. He was enjoying, but I could feel always something with him. So he started asking me a lot of questions, say, honey, why don't we start talking about money? Why don't we start just sitting down and seeing what do we have to do with money? So I said, what do you mean talk about money? We already are paying our bills. I don't understand. What else do you want to talk about money? So he said, no, why don't we sit down and I tell you how our money is going to work? Let's see how much we're spending every month. Let's see what we can do so we don't have to let that money go away, but keep it in our own bank, then we pay for our own bank and then the money comes back. So I was still like, yes, I guess, let's sit down. I did not grow up with talking about money in my family with my parents. I'm from South America, from Ecuador. So to me, talking about money was very strange. I didn't know what to say. All I could say is like, oh yeah, we spend this much and this. And he would ask me questions like, what do I want? Like we were trying to figure out how to love money, basically. That's what he was trying to do. And he was also learning with me. It was around 2 years ago. He started also thinking about, we are first. He started reading the Bible sometimes to see how can he get ideas on how to communicate with me. And the commandment that most got the attention to him was the one that love thy neighbor like you love yourself. And he decided to apply that also for money. Pay yourself first before paying others. So I was like thinking, okay, he probably has some kind of idea of what's going on about it. So I started listening to him, but it was not really easy. It was not something that I was easily wanted to move forward to. The first thing that we started doing here was, like I said, writing every week. We decided every Tuesday at 9 in the morning, no matter what it is, we sit down from 9 to 10 and we talk about money. Whatever subject it is, we just start brainstorming ideas, start thinking, okay, like figuring out what do we need to talk about the money. It's been almost probably 2 years that we do that. And now we are really comfortable because I didn't know talking about money was talking about what are the things that we want to accomplish together. What are the things that we really are spending too much? What are the things that we don't need anymore? And that really helped me a lot, especially to me, to see what he was trying to do with this engineer whole life policy that I was, before I couldn't even pronounce, like engineered. I started to understand that it meant it was a policy that was created for Jason and my needs, not for the company needs. So I was like, okay. I started to actually like this. I started actually to understand a little bit more about it. And it really, really, really changed my life. And the money meetings, like I mentioned, that it was something that started. We also, with Jason, we talk about the fact that a lot of Americans, as you can see in the slide, they struggle with finances. They struggle because they don't, they are like we were before, paycheck to paycheck. They have a lot of debt. They don't know what to do. But Jason and I were like moving forward about it. Like we were actually able to do something about it. And I loved it. I loved it. I start feeling like, yes, Jason is right. He has something about it, because now when he would say something to me like, oh, honey, he would now get out sometimes a little bit, worried about things. I say, hey, honey, don't forget that now we have our own bank and we don't own the card creditors anymore. We don't owe the credit cards anymore. It's our money. We can adjust certain things. We are not going to be charged interest. So that also changed our life a lot, because we were now together in the same page, which is something that when we talk to a lot of couples, sometimes they are not in the same page in money. Sometimes either one spouse or the other are in different journeys of money. One is going this way and the other one is going that way. And Jason and I, now we are in the same page. We have our own dreams because we both have our engineer policy working. We both see how the money is working, how it's moving, what are we doing with it, to the point that we have 4, which that's something that you all can see in another YouTube video for Jason, where he explains that. And it's just so different. Connor, my son, he hears about the elections coming, and he hears about how, nobody knows what's going to happen. And we were listening to something on the radio about that. And Connor said, Mom, what is going to happen now? What is going to happen to us? I said, you know what, Connor? Thanks to that, nothing's going to happen to us. We don't even have to worry about it because we have control of our money. So if the interest go up, it's not going to affect us. If something goes more expensive, it's not going to affect us because all the money is in mommy's and daddy's banks, which is Sipple Bank. And he was like, oh, okay. He was able to move on. Before, probably we would have been worried. We would have said, yeah, I don't know that he's going to figure it out. That's what I was to Connor. But this time I was able to tell Connor, no, daddy's got it. We have our own bank, which is awesome because he's also starting to understand what it means we have our own bank. So I think that's so important because that's the part of legacy that Jason also talks about, that he wants to create for the future generations. being able for me as a wife, knowing that my husband has taken care of us, it's just a feeling that I can just, move on with everything that I have to do without thinking, oh my God, what's going to happen after the elections? If, this person wins, what are we going to do? Not, not, we are not anyway in the dark. I'm like, okay, we got this, we know how to do it. So it's been a blessing for us in that case, but it was not an easy journey. We had to, take some time to do it. If anybody has any questions about, how did Jason and I move forward or something, please, I would love to hear. The journey for Jason was, as you can see in this slide, was at the number 3 at the bottom was he was skeptical about it too, but then he was open-minded and curious. He does have shared the story that one of his friends showed him the book of Nelson Nash, which is Become Your Own Banker. And I remember he saw the book and he was reading, and I was like, why is he reading that book? What is he going to be a banker? Like, I actually thought maybe he's going to go work on a bank because that's what he said. Oh, you're banker. The word banker means you're a bank. I was not thinking that we can be our own bankers. So that's where he, read it. He got very knowledgeable so he can then share with me about it. Once he realized that's what he wants, that's going to be like the opening door that he was looking for us as a family, for him to give me everything that he wants, to provide for his son and for his future generations, and to help a lot of the people that he knows, his friends and whoever talks on the phone. He just decided to go deep in it and study and learn it. And then, eventually that journey took him to the Money Multiplier, which is Brent Kessler and Chris Nagel and everybody else that obviously he met in there, where he felt identified. He felt, wow, these men are doing what I need to do. They are protecting their family. They are creating these. They are, even doing more, not just protecting their family. They're helping, they're giving donations, they are changing the world. And he felt like, okay, that's for me. So he went through the journey of, he trained, then now he's teaching everybody about it. Every phone call that he does every day, that's for teaching. And the third one is he tests. How do we test? Well, now we have 4 of the engineer whole life policies. We have been doing different things with each one, learning, what's here, what's better, how you use this one. Because Jason has 2 on him, 1 on me, and 1 in Connor. And so we are trying to see for each one, okay, this one is going to be assigned for this, for that. So that's been the testing part. So then we can share, or he can share the story with everybody else. And the next adventure right now for us is that we are going to be able to now make our money grow, because we are in the second journey of it, which is we do a HELOC, and we're going to start putting the money to work for us, which I never thought we were ever going to be able for me to talk about it. I would hear my family that they are successful here in New York, they work in New York, how they do this, how they put this money and everything. And I always thought, oh, that's something that they do. But now knowing that it's something that I am going to do, it's kind of like, wow, I never thought I was going to be able to do it. So as a woman, as a partner, that has been my journey. And so, but Jason has had to do it and be consistent, not give up about it, like just keep going and believing in himself, even though when I said, oh, I don't want to do it, I don't believe you, or, it's been it's been a journey. Now I can say with our change, which is almost 2 years, our life has changed dramatically. We don't worry about what are we going to do anymore. In fact, for Christmas, Jason was able to give me these beautiful diamond rings. I love diamonds, because he knew I always wanted some bigger ones. But obviously, before our whole engineer whole life bank policies, it was for him to see, how is he going to pay, right? How many interest, how many years, how many months. But once we had this in December, he was able to give me that. And I felt so relieved that I knew that he gave it to me. And I knew he had not put himself in a situation that he's going to have to find a way to pay it. I knew he was giving me because we were able to do it. And he was just happy. And I'm able to wear them every day. And he sees me smiling. And I know that this was from our own bank, from the Sipple's bank. And that was important. So that gives him a lot of confidence and empowerment. And that gives me confidence, because now we walk together happy because we have control of our money. And that transfers to our sons, right? Which they are so young, which is wonderful that they are learning that. So now we are just excited for the future. Now we can plan ski trips. We can plan so many things. That before we would talk about it, but not really plan. Now those things are going to happen slowly because, we now understand about how money works and we want it to work through our bank, but everything that we want to is going to happen. So this is an example of how we did it, basically. So Jason set the mind and we say for 2 years before starting the first policy, he was just telling me, no, honey, we're going to save these, we're going to save these. And I was like, what is he doing? Like, why are we, it was everything for me was kind of like, why is he doing this? I don't understand. Why are we not doing this? But once we, he was able to open our first policy, then I was like, oh, and then he explained it to me. We're going to put this money here, honey, and then we're going to borrow from us. And that was when I understood. I was like, oh my God. So we were able to pay off, like it says there, $100,000 in debt within 3 years. But that's true. We don't have any debt anymore, like no debt. And it was such a relief because every time, like, we want something, now we have to think about it. Now we go through our bank, we make it work. Of course, we're not perfect, right? Sometimes we get excited or something, but now we are conscious about it. We understand, we're like, oh, we should have done it this way, or we should have done it that way, or wait a minute, let's do it this way. But it's on us, it's our control, which that feeling of having something in control, especially your money, it's amazing. As a woman, sometimes we want to have control of everything, how the kids do this, how we cook, how we keep the house, how something. And the fact that, with your husband or with my husband, and we have control of our money, it's amazing. And there's no more arguments anymore about how much is this, or we cannot afford this. It's like, okay, how do we do it, honey? He likes to do all his trips. He likes to do all his challenges. So now we make it happen. I go to my woman retreats. I have these amazing woman retreats, so I can be also a better woman for him. And, we can do all that because everything is going through our bank. So it's awesome to have control of your money, not the banks, not Bank of America, not the credit card Wells Fargo, or like we have to make a personal loan to pay these. Nothing like that anymore. And it's such a great relief for that. This is another example how Jason did it. First, what we did is we started with, once we pay everything, we start putting back in our bank $2,200 every month. That we were paying that money every month to the debtors, the 2 cars that we had, a couple of credit cards every month. That's how much I was paying. Now we don't have to do it anymore. Then a year later, we grew it to 3,300. Right? And that's like, wow, that's more money we're putting back in our bank. And the interest is going all to us, which is amazing. Because imagine that if we know a credit card was going to charge us 4% interest, well, guess what? We are paying that interest back to us. So it's more money that we're paying back to us because we are our own bank. Yes, we have to be disciplined. Yes, some months will be like, oh, we haven't, but we still catch up because we will not pay late to the credit card. We would not pay late your car payment, right? Because they can come and take your car away. So why were we not doing the same to ourselves? That's when Jason means to love yourself, right? Why were we not paying to ourselves this exactly, very consistently, like we pay the credit cards or the banks of the cars? So that's a part of mindset that Jason always talks about. And, in his videos in YouTube, you can see that that's how he talks about it. So it's a complete change of mindset. It is like riding your bicycle backwards. It is not easy. You have to be disciplined. But now we don't have the pain of regret anymore. We don't, for the last 2 years and a little bit more, we don't have regrets anymore about, oh, why did we spend this? Or why did we do that? Now, the discipline that we have makes us be happy, makes us get up every day and say, oh, we can do this, we can do that. And everything is thanks to Jason having, pushing me. So together we can have control back of our money. Here again, we are building our wealth now, which is amazing. We just had approved for our first HELOC. We actually have to talk next week with our HELOC person, which is Joe HELOC, which he is part of Chris Nagel, the money multiplier as well. And we're going to start putting our money to work, which is amazing. I'm excited. It's going to be a journey. I'm sure Jason will share with you all about it. But yeah, within the next 2 weeks, our money is going to start working for us, and we're going to be able to receive passive income. I did not understand before what passive income was. So the fact that now I understand, and now we're going to be receiving passive income, oh my goodness, that's a blessing. Our kids are learning about it. So imagine they're so young that when they're in their 30s, they're going to be able to understand that and create that, instead of now that we both are going to be almost 50 and we're starting that. So their life is going to be better. So our legacy for the family is going to be so much better. Jason wants to share this with so many parents, with dads or with moms or with anybody that wants to do that, like just giving that peace of mind and the excitement that you can take control back of your money and not worry who wins in the election, not worry, about the jobs, or not worry about many things that have to happen in the world, about the economy, about everything. So, and it's forever. It's going to be long term. We are going to do this forever. Once we pass, like Jason says, once we graduate, in Spanish, we just say when we go to heaven, we know that our kids are going to continue with their bank. And that's going to be for our grandkids and our future generations, because we started it, because Jason had the courage one day and the faith to start it. So as a spouse, that's great. That's like an amazing feeling. I don't think I have to say much of this. With this, we have fun. I mean, I love that I am having fun all the time with Jason. We enjoy our trips together. We enjoy going out. When people with us now, we talk about money. Before, I didn't want to, talk about money. Now with anybody, I talk about money. Oh, Patty, how did you do this? Or how did you do that? Or, we are about to be part of this group we do both Taekwondo. So we're about to join Victory for Life, which is just a special membership that you join forever and you have more benefits, and it's not cheap, but because now we have our own bank, we're about to join us. So people are asking me, so how did you come up with the money for that? So I said, well, talk to Jason. That money is coming out of our bank. So people are like, wow. So they're starting to get curious about it when I share that with other spouses, mostly women, but sometimes men also hear me saying something and they're like, wait, what did you say? So it's been an amazing journey for me to create all these. And, so basically this has been the steps that we have taken for us. We took control back of our money by Jason having patient consistency in trying to explain everything to me. Now we know our future is secure. Okay, so I see I have some questions. I am going to see, Linus, how long from when he was first introduced to the concept to the time you all started your first policy? So I think this was during COVID in 2020. He started because he had his good friend, which he is a finance person. And I know he has he has a couple of financial companies. I don't know exactly one, but I know he's a fiduciary. That's what Jason says. And one day they were talking about, he was telling him, how are you doing all this? How are you doing all that? And his friend gave him, and his mentor gave him the book from Nelson Nash. And that's the book that's changed his life forever. So this was in probably 2020, 2021, I want to say, when Jason was introduced to this. In fact, after this, he went through a couple of other changes. He went to Tony Robbins as well at the same time. So one day he came and he told me, I'm quitting my job. And I was like, what do you mean you're quitting your job? That was the hardest thing as a wife, to hear that. So your husband was telling you that he's quitting his job. I was like, wait, are you okay? You have a spouse, you have kids. So that was a big process that we went through. It was, it was hard, but he just kept trying. But that's how, so I want to say 2020, probably, and at the end of 2021, 2022, that's when we had our first policy. That's why, because once he started, probably at the end of 2021, because it was 2020, or at the beginning of 2022, something like this. We had received also some money. I mean, it took us a while, because his purpose was to have a good amount of money to open the first policy so we can pay our debts. So it was around that time. This all happened in 2 years. Yes. Hi, Robert. Yes. Jason has a video about it. He can talk to you about it. But yes, these all happened within 2 years. I know he has done a couple of videos how to do this. I know you are one of his clients as well, but yeah, you can ask him how he did it. It was step by step. It was not perfect. It was not easy, but right now, yeah, we have paid over $100,000 in our debts. It's just the faith. Of course, Jason always says we have the first job to do this is to create money. So he has to work, right? You have to create the money to be able to put it to work. So he works hard to have that, but that's how it's been. That's why Jason is able to show these on the slides, because it is very true. So yes, so that's been the journey for us. If you have any other questions, as always, you can, book a call with Jason. You can subscribe to his YouTube videos, because there he makes not only the videos from the webinars are there, but videos that he makes after sometimes he talks to a client and he learns something new that people need help with. He creates videos about it that you can, you subscribe and you receive their videos. And he can always answer all the questions to us. I see that most of you are clients, Joy and Emmett. If you're interested, if you want to know more about it, you can book a call with Jason at jason.beyourownbanker.com, or you can email him at jason@jasonsipple.com. That's his email, where you can ask him any questions. Through YouTube, you can ask questions as well. He's on Facebook. He's on Instagram as well. It's Jason Sipple. You can reach him there and ask him any questions. But he's ready to answer everything. That's why he's away, because he was getting more information, getting more knowledge, so he can help you more, because that's his purpose in life, is to help. I think he says like 10 million dads. But it doesn't mean dads, because usually it's the dad, but we can also, it's also for moms and for single person, not just exactly a dad, but he as a dad identifies with it. So I guess it's been a good 30 minutes. I know Jason likes to say 30 minutes is 30 minutes. We really value your time. If you have any other questions, like I said before, there's different ways to reach Jason. Thank you so much for listening, Emmett, Frank, Joy, Linus, and Robert. And I guess you will see Jason here next Thursday. So thank you all, and you have a good day. I'm going to stop sharing, and I send you a lot of hugs, a lot of love to everyone, and bye-bye.